Happy Friday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. How's everybody doing today? Today is Friday, January 22nd. My name is Caroline. Welcome back, Daily Crafty Chat. And I have just a few things to share today. I'm going to start with something that I think may surprise many of you. I have decided to give away a whip, and I decided to give away this whip ages ago, and I'm a terrible friend because I've been putting off putting it in the mail, and partly because it had kind of gotten put into an area where other things were on top of it, and then I forgot about it for a little bit. But then also I felt, I don't know, this is going to feel funny, but something was kind of holding me back from sticking it in the mail with a lovely little note, because I actually know the person that this is going to. And then this morning I had a good think about it, because I thought I really need to package that up and get that out into the mail to my friend Kirsten. Kirsten also lives in Ontario, and I met her actually through doing Flosstube videos, but Kirsten came to a retreat that I've been going to for years and years. A small retreat used to be in near Grand Bend, but now it's held in Ingersoll at the Elmhurst Inn. So I've met Kirsten, and someone on the Facebook group had stitched the Glendon Place Witch's Wheel. And those of you who have been here for a while will know that this is also a whip that I've had in my stash pile for many years. My friend Tracy stitched this years ago, and her version was so fun. It has a lot of beads in it, and again, it's one of those things where the cover photo, it looks really cool, but when you see it stitched in person, it's actually really an incredible piece. And I taught music lessons in my home for many years, and I always thought this would be such a cool piece to have at the entrance to the studio for Halloween. But I no longer teach private music lessons. I no longer have people coming to the house, period, like so many of you. But that's neither here nor there. The heart of the matter is that I have never been someone who decorates for Halloween, ever. John and Nicholas in the last couple of years have started putting a few things outside for the benefit of trick-or-treaters, but I've never been one to sort of put up you know, things in the home for Halloween. And so I thought that Kirsten had left a comment on the person who had stitched this in the Facebook group, and she said, "Oh, I've been looking all over for that fabric. Where did you find it?" And I thought, you know, I'm just going to make the offer. And I offered to Kirsten, I said, "Look, how about I send you my whip and the pattern? It's yours, because I know you'll love it. I know you'll stitch it, and I know selfishly I'll get to see it again." And she said yes, and I have still yet to put it in the mail to her. And so I thought this morning, I think why is because I need to say goodbye to it. I need to tell you that I'm saying goodbye to it, so that 3 years from now somebody doesn't say, "Hey, why didn't you ever finish that witch's wheel?" So now you know. So let me share where the state it's at, and I'm hoping that Kirsten will send me photos of it as she's working on it. So I only ever worked on this like one day a year, and it was like, you know, the week or two before Halloween every year, and that's it, and then it would go away again and I'd never touch it. So actually this was supposed to be the right side. So of the part of the wheel, that's supposed to be the right side. Isn't that fabric amazing? I mean, that's really, really quite something. This is the called for fabric, which is called Solar Flare. Let me just double check. Yeah, Solar. It's just called Solar. Belfast linen by Picture This Plus. So it is a hand dye, and it is really just a stunning. It's the perfect piece of fabric for this project. And there's my first little witch. And I did a little cat. I did the next broomstick over here. And that's all I got done. And it has languished and languished and languished. And I'm just not a Halloween stitcher, and I no longer teach private music lessons. I no longer have little kids coming to the house all the time. Now I know this looks kind of scary for little kids. Like, you have to remember, a lot of the kids that I was teaching were 10, 12, not 2 and 3. So and also when this piece is finished and all of the beads are in it, it's not quite as, I mean, she really looks like she's staring at you, doesn't she? It's a little more subtle when it's the entire design. So I'm officially saying goodbye to my Glendon Place witch's wheel, and now it can go in the mail and make its way over to Kirsten. So Kirsten, I can't wait to see your progress on it. I'm just using, I was using from my cone of 310. I have enough 310 to last. See me out. Okay, I've been talking about it the last couple of days. It's the weekend. It's 24 hours of cross stitch weekend, and I am ready to go. I'm starting tonight. I will not be doing 24 hours consecutively. I'm going to break it up throughout the entire weekend, and I've got John on board, so he knows that, the whole family knows they're going to find me in my stitching chair this weekend. And I did some more last night. I finished, can you tell? I completed this center motif right here. This is now completely finished. And I finished the blue motif right there. So all that fill-in, that was done last night. As well as that, a little bit of fill-in in here as well. So this is my starting point. If you didn't see the video a couple of days ago, I now have a Luna needle minder, and you can if you'd like a Luna needle minder as well, you can find these on Allison Rosen's Etsy shop. It's called It's Charm School, and I'll link to her shop in the drop down box below. I also have my brand new 24 hours of cross stitch magnet needle minder, so I am ready to go. So I had a couple of people say, oh, you could totally finish that this weekend. And I think you're all a little like me. There's more stitching there than you think. There's a lot of stitching there. So I don't know if I'm going to finish it this weekend, because I really want to put some work into my Jeanette Douglas design. Oh, that reminds me, somebody left me a comment yesterday or messaged me. That's the problem with if notifications pop up on my phone and I read them and then I don't go in and find out where they are. So I can't remember where I saw it, but somebody left me a comment that Jeanette has just released number 6. I haven't even seen it yet. So I'm going to have to go and check that out and see what that's all about. So the series of the Blooming Bouquet series, there are now 6 in the series. So that's exciting. I am stitching number 4, which is called Beautiful. And I have some knitting as well. So I'll be working, you know, a few rows when I get tired. If my eyes need a rest, then I'll put a few rows into my Caroline shawl. So that's the plan for the weekend. It's gonna be relaxing. The rest of my day today is going to be spent winding floss. I am going to be a winding fool for the rest of the day. My task for today is to wind up all of the remaining Leo and Roxy blues to go in the shop update that will be happening tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I was doing something a little bit fun this morning with my coffee before I started work, so I thought I would share it with you, because it's one of those things where many times when you don't have a planned project for floss, it can kind of be overwhelming. Like, well, what am I going to do with it? What am I going to use this floss for? And I can tell you that you're really only limited by your imagination and your creativity, because there is just when you start to kind of try to think outside the box or think about what couldn't I do with this, you can change any pattern to look like anything that you want. There are freebie designs that you can find online. Make sure that they are actually, you know, freebie charts and not like Pinterest stolen, you know what I mean, right? There are very inexpensive PDF charts to be found on Etsy from places like Lena Cross Stitch. Ink Circles has a great selection of downloadable PDFs that are reasonably priced. Jacob Modern Folk Embroidery, he has, now I know Jacob is known for his massive pieces, but he also has a really wonderful selection of smaller pieces. He even has a freebie on his site, the Be Kind sampler. It's a circular design and it's smaller, it's monochromatic, it's one color. So these are the kinds of things where if you've got some stash fabric and you've got I'm not just trying to tell you about the Leo and Roxy floss. I'm trying to tell you about, you know, if you've got flosses in your stash that you're not using, and to try to think about them a little bit differently and be creative in incorporating them into your stitching, and maybe not always thinking that, well, I have to stick to this because this is what the pattern is telling me I have to do. Maybe you can change it out a little bit so that it I don't know, suits your interior design, or, you know, makes your heart go pitter pat because it's your favorite color. Just, you know, anything like that. So what I was doing this morning was, there was a chart that popped into my mind last night, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since last night, because you might also remember I've been working on my Ink Circles damask square, on that pre-finished linen square, and I am going to get back to that soon. I am. That's definitely on my agenda because I would love to finish that. So I'm stitching that with a really beautiful blue silk from Dinky Dyes. And that made me think about, well, what other designs do I have in my stash that would work with this new blue floss that I've got, because I'm definitely keeping some for myself, and, you know, what do I want to stitch with it? So then I thought back to a video that I did months ago where a couple Thursdays in a row I pulled out a stash drawer. And I just, in the video, I went through the bin and I looked at the stash picture, the stashed charts that I had. And it's a Keslan design chart called Itty Bitties. And what I'm going to do is, the rest of this video, I'm going to turn the camera around so that I can show you exactly all of the fabrics in my stash that I pulled out this morning, and the chart. And then I've got the flosses on the fabrics, and I'm going to show you kind of, you know, just how fun it is. It's just really fun. The other thing is, well, I'll tell you about it when I've got the camera around, because then you can see the fabric as well. So that's it for face to face today. I am going to be, I'll be back on Monday for a daily crafty chat. And Monday will also be the shipping day. I might be Monday and Tuesday, so that I can make sure that I get through it all. But if you've ordered floss in any of the 3 shop updates, it will be headed out the door on Monday or Tuesday of next week. So very nice quick turnaround. I can't wait to get it into your hands because I think you're going to really enjoy it. All right, so let me turn the camera around and let me share my little floss toss that I enjoyed this morning. All right, hang on. Okay, so here's what I pulled out of stash. So I concentrated on grays and blues that I had. Now this one's looking a little more brown in the photos, but I think that is a really, you know, you never know what you're going to like until you take it all out and you look at what you've got. So I'm just going to go through what this is. This is Picture This Plus Dwarf. And man, look at that color. Is that ever beautiful? This is a, I think this is a Picture This Plus as well, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it's called Haunted. It's a Lugana. This is a Picture This Plus. Oh, I seem to like Picture This Plus, don't I? Storm. This piece here, I bought this from Needle in a Haystack when I met the Bee Sisters out in California a few years back now. But that was a souvenir from my trip, and I'm just waiting for the perfect project to put on it. But it's just beautiful stuff, man. This linen doesn't have a name, but I can tell you that it was from XJU Designs. I belonged to a 3-month mystery fabric of the month club, and this was what arrived on one of the months. And I wish the color would be a little more true, because it's really a lovely browny, linen-y gray. It's a gray brown, but definitely the modeling is more on the warmer brown side than the cooler brown. Last but not least, another XJU design fabric. This is, I love this fabric. This is called Old Linen, and this is a 28 count. And I just love it. I have actually decided to stitch my Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 stitch along. This is the fabric I'm going to be using for it, but not this piece, not the 28. I want a 40 count, and I actually have it ordered from Jukis in Hungary. It's gorgeous. So I'll show you a little bit more of that in a minute. So next thing I did was, here's the chart that I have in mind. So this is Keslin's Itty Bitties, and you can see that they're all just small little motifs that, oh, hang on, that's just my dryer going. Let me just go turn it off. Okay, there we go. So they're all individual little motifs that, you know, could easily stand alone. You could do them on a large count fabric. You know, think about Miss Patty's giant pillows. You could take one of them and you could make it huge on, you know, over 4 on a linen, or over 2 squares on Ada, and make a pillow. You know, you could do anything with these. I love the design as is, but you can see, if you come in close, you can see all of these charts would lend themselves to using one variegated or a couple of colors. You know, a couple of these are divided up easily enough that you could choose 2 colors or even 3 colors and make them exactly what you wanted. So this chart calls for this, it's done on a 28 count, 1/1. Okay, so the design area measures 8 by, that doesn't make any sense because they've given inches here. It's got to be 8 inches by 9 inches wide, right? Yeah, because those are the stitch count. So depending on what fabric you're using, you're going to want to make sure that you're measuring your fabric correctly. However, I love the idea of 1/1, doing it teeny tiny, because, well, it uses less floss. It takes up less space on your wall if you want to frame it, and it's delicate and perfect. So here's the floss that I'm working with. I've got the 5 different blues, and they look pretty perfect on dwarf, don't you think? The Haunted is too green, so right away that would be one that I would discard as a choice. I love them on the Storm. The steel is maybe, in reality, the steel is maybe not quite a nice enough match, but these 4 would probably work well. The mystery linen from Jukis is too brown, so that one wouldn't make the cut. And then the old linen, like I said, this one's my favorite. I love that. I just love it. I love it. So I want to do my modern folk embroidery piece on, I have some coming from Jukas that I've ordered in a 40 count. So I'm going to use a couple of the colors in that, but I'm going to do it on 40 count with one thread, so it won't use nearly as much floss. And then I'd like to use this 28 count, use the same floss, but all 5 colors, and do this chart 1/1. So what do you think? I think it's going to be stunning. Oh, and I can't wait to start it. But who knows? Maybe this weekend? We shall see. I'm itching to stitch something with this though. So I think I might try to sneak in a few stitches. It is, you know, it's a marathon weekend, right? So I should do something a little bit fun. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. I sure did. And I hope you have a great weekend. And happy stitching, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you on Monday. I'm back. I had completely forgotten there was one other thing that I thought would be totally amazing. So this is dwarf. And you know, I did those Christmas stars, the pattern on the silk stitching app from Historische Stickmuster. Well, how perfect is this fabric if you have like a silver and blue Christmas theme? How amazing would some snowflakes be on this fabric, right? So that's polar ice. So it's an icy blue, but I know that there are, you know, there are lots of you might even have something similar to this in your stash. But look at that combination. That's beautiful. Those would make some gorgeous snowflakes. This piece I bought for Winter Quakers, and I'm no longer sure that I'm going to stitch Winter Quakers, so that's okay. Plans are meant to change, but some snowflakes, now that. I guess it's maybe because I'm starting to think about ornaments for the kids, you know, when they move out and have their first Christmas tree. Maybe that's why all of a sudden I've got Christmas ornaments on the mind. Who knows? Okay, that really is it this time. Promise. I'll see you on Monday. Take care.